Hello and good morning, my sewing friends. Today I am so excited to share with you some really cool tips on applique techniques and also on stitch combinations. So I do get a lot of questions about stitch combinations, not so much about applique, but since the clear feet are on sale this month, we are going to do a little demo so you don't forget to take advantage of that before, what is it, Thursday? Tomorrow? Is that the 31st already? So don't miss out on the 25% off of the Clear Feet sale, so stay tuned for that, but let's show you what I'm working on right now. I'm gonna flip you around here, and hopefully you don't fall over. This is a lovely patriotic table runner that I'm building from the We All Sew blog. And so I'm gonna first show you how to do raw edge applique, which happens to be my favorite method because it's kind of fast and fun. And then I'm going to show you how to stitch and flip. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get over to my ironing board. Da, 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 da. It's like a dance in here. See all the lovely quilts? If you haven't been to Tater Patch in a while, come on down. Okay, so you start out with, you can build your background first if you like. It's a 30.5 by 15.5 inch main piece. And then you need 4 colors for the sidebars, and you cut 2 strips of each color at 2.5 by 15.5, and then you sew those together and put them on the ends. Then you need some stars. This is the free template that you can get from the We All Sew blog, but I'm sure you can find a star somewhere else if you don't know where the We All Sew blog is, but you really should find it because there's amazing fun free projects on there all the time. And so print this out, and then you can use this to trace. So I usually take this and my Heat and Bond light and put this right over the top and trace with a pencil. We do like to use a pencil because it doesn't transfer onto our iron or then onto our fabric. So next step we're going to do is roughly cut it out. So this is my star. Cut out the little one here. I don't usually like those edges because it just wastes some of the fabric around my applique. So I do kind of cut it fairly tight, but not right on the line. Now we're going to iron this for about 3 to 5 seconds onto the back of your applique fabric. Yes, the back side. If you're doing a shape that is reversible, like lettering, you'll want to make sure that you trace it in the mirrored version because you're actually going to see the opposite direction of what you traced. So, but stars, doesn't matter. If there's something in particular you want to incorporate into your applique, you'll want to make sure that you cover that up when you're going to adhere this. So let's just pull you down here. We'll give this a nice little iron. Let's see if I want to get some dots in here. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. That's good enough. Okay. Now we're going to cut on the line, but I usually like to cut this off first so that I don't end up with a lot of, like a weird piece of fabric that has little pieces of Heat and Bond on it. So cut it out on the line this time. I'm watching where I'm cutting and not where the filming is, so bear with me here. 2 more sides. Okay, now I have a cute little star. Next, I'm going to take you over to the sewing machine and show you how to sew this down. But before we sew it, usually you'll peel the, I don't have very long fingernails today, peel off the paper backing. And now you have the glue ready to adhere to your background. So I'm going to actually use this little star on a sample piece for you because I'm not ready to quite put my appliques down on my big background because I want to quilt it first. always a good idea. Quilt it first. So let me grab that. And here we go. I'm going to flip you around. Ooh, wrong button. We don't need any stickers. For the technically challenged people here, you hit the wrong buttons. Okay. Oh, good. My machine's reminding me my feed dogs are down. All right, get settled in here. This is the Clearfoot number 39, and it's kind of nice because it's got shorter toes than the 34. So for appliques and tight turns, it really does a good job at keeping your field of vision up close. It has the lovely red grids to help you follow the edge of your applique and also know when to turn. So if you don't have a Clearfoot, one of the 39 or 34 is a good option. The 39 also has a little tiny couching port here in the front. Well, that I'm not going to demonstrate today. So let me just iron this down, get some thread, iron down. We'll use that. Oh, maybe blue thread would have been fun. Oh well. Okay, feed dogs up. Maybe you might want to see what I'm selecting here. Let's zoom you out just a touch. Okay. Most of your applique stitches are going to be in this quilt block folder if you don't remember. And here we're going to find, if I'm going to do a blanket stitch, I usually use the number 20 foot, but for today, let's use something kind of fun, like this X stitch. Oh, it thinks I have the 0mm plate on. Let's fix that. And this is a 39C. Okay, now we're all set up to do our crisscross stitch. So because we have a stitch that's going to go both left and right of the edge of the applique, because usually you run the straight stitch part of this down the edge, we're going to use the center of that foot and that line to line us up with the edge of the applique. Whoop, one too far. We'll go needle up. Get us back on track here. Nothing like sewing without a foot pedal, right? Ooh, that was a good spot to pivot. Oh, not lined up. So this is the little trick here. Oh, you guys can't hardly see what I'm doing. The little trick on the corner. See how my needle is not lined up with the center of the foot, and that is also not lined up with the edge of the applique. So if I just hit the needle up button and then adjust it so that the center of the foot is on the center of the applique, when I take off again, that'll be lined up in the right spot. Once again, I'm a little off on that turn. Come back around. Oh, this is a cute stitch. I am going to use this. One more. Needle up. I need to slow down so I can stop this at the right time. That's better. Good morning, Holly. We're almost all the way around this baby. I think that's close enough. We'll leave it there. This is actually turning out really cute. So did you notice the knot at the end? That's a great way. We're going to talk about that here in a moment with the stitch combinations, but adding that program knot into your cut function will help you when you're building stitch combinations or short runs of stitching like this without it coming unraveled later. So that's raw edge applique. Now we can do the same technique with a finished edge, which I know some of you are into the finished look. I just have to find my other star, which has to be not very far. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's another piece of fabric that I want to make a star out of. And this time, instead of tracing this, well, I did trace it onto the paper side of the heat and bond. Oh yeah, I like the X's too. I actually went ahead and then transferred it over to the sticky side, and you're going to see why here in a moment. I'm going to put, oh, I actually didn't need to do that. You only need the paper side. Ha ha ha. The beautiful part about this is you're going to use just the plain yardage, and you're going to put the star down where you want, and we're going to sew on the line. So we need a straight stitch. Now keep in mind, when you do this technique, you might want to stitch 1/4 of an inch off due to the fact that it's going to lose a little, well, maybe not even 1/4, 1/8 of an inch off. You will lose a little bit of size with the seam allowance. You'll see what I mean here in a moment. You can also do this with just stabilizer or interfacing instead of the heat and bond, but I do like having that fusible edge to adhere it down before I stitch it to the project. So if I am using one of those other products, I like a fusible interfacing or a fusible stabilizer. Otherwise, I add the 505 spray. So many choices, right? See what you've got and use that. Or see what you got and call me and I'll give you a suggestion. Okay, almost there. And I'm going to run over the first part of my stitching a little bit. Okay, got that. Now, we're going to, oh shoot. Well, you'll get the idea. I should have sewn this to the front side of the fabric. Holly, why didn't you catch that? You knew better. Okay. Well, maybe I like the back side better. Maybe I think it's pretty. So you cut this out, leaving some seam allowance. That's what I get for flipping methods. One of them you go to the back, one of them you go to the front. You've never done this? Oh, well, you might really like it. So now you are going to want to separate the two layers because you don't want to accidentally cut through your fabric. And you're going to do a snipperoo. You might want to make this slit a little bit bigger for ease. And anytime you have a point, if you want to snip those off, that'll help that helps that lay sharper once we turn this. And yes, some of you are going to say, oh, I like to do needle turn. Well, that's too much work for me. Okay, so flip it inside out. This is why we should have stitched it to the front, not to the back. And my heat and bond is a little weak, but it's what I had out this morning. Yeah, see, I knew you had done this. Probably not with heat and bond because it's not holding up to the turn process very well. Okay, so we flip it around. Boy, I need my scissors to poke. So we get our little star points poked out. Maybe. Switch this around to here. Oops, now I've ripped the paper. Okay. Maybe I should not use scissors. Well, note to self, heat and bond is not the best medium for this stitch and flip technique, but we'll get it. Okay, I might have to work a little harder, but I have to do a new one anyway because I goofed and I sewed this to the wrong side of the fabric. But see how the seam creates the turned edge. Oops, see, there I go, ripping the heat and bond again. Here's one of the things not to do. Now it's starting to look like a star. Okay, so you get the idea. Much better with interfacing, because or a cutaway stabilizer that doesn't rip when you are poking at these corners. Da, 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 da. Turn that over. Okay, one more star made. Wrong side out, but you do lose just a fraction of that applique, though, from that seam. Nobody's going to want to do that because that didn't look very nice in the end. But I promise it does work when you use the right materials. Okay, let's talk about stitch combinations. So, this is probably a little more advanced learning technique, but not difficult. It's just we often forget how to get here. So this is the regular sewing screen. So if you notice, if I was to select an alphabet and select a letter, it's going to show me like sewing A, which who would want to really do that? So typically, if you're going to be using the alphabets, you are going to switch over into combination mode, which is this plus sign. So if I first go there, then I get this fun blank slate. And it's easier if you open this to full screen, but you don't have to. There's capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Let's just write USA. I'm going to write some fun USA, freedom, liberty in different colors and put it on the background of my table runner. But this is my practice, so I'm going to show you exactly how I would set this up. I can program the machine to do knots at the beginning and the end, but I really don't need to. Actually, I will go ahead and put, I'm going to show you an advanced thing. I'm going to, without spaces, also add the word freedom, and I think I will do it in caps. So you can see this technique that not many of you know about, which involves combination breaks. Okay, so I've got USA and Freedom, and if you notice, I'm on the M. So if I was to begin sewing right now, it would start on the M, but I have a little bit more editing to do. Wherever your little dotted line, let me zoom in. If you see this dotted line right there on the screen, it's below the F. That's where I'm currently editing. So I want to add a break, but this is actually going to add a break in the wrong spot. I'm going to show you this on purpose. This symbol with the boxes and the line is where you could add a knot, but I'm going to add what we call a soft break. And then you would see, oops, I added it between the F and the R. I really want it between USA and Freedom. So I can delete that with a swipe. It is a slow swipe, and go to the correct position and add my soft break. The difference between a hard break and a soft break, which are these two symbols, is hard break is going to keep you in your boundary. So if I was to do USA, it would then stick me back to the beginning of USA, USA, USA until I manually advanced past it. If I put the soft break in, though, after I do USA, it will stop, but then immediately when I begin sewing again, it will go to Freedom. So it's a good way to create spacing, and if you want to do things on different lines or however you want to build this up. So let's see, I'm probably going to put, let's switch it back down here. I'm probably going to put Freedom in this bigger space. So we'll put USA right here. We'll go make sure I'm at the very beginning of my stitch combination, and I can actually go pretty fast. I'm using the green button too, so it's fully engaged, but if you would have your foot control on, it would do the same thing. I would still be stepped on the gas and it would stop. Notice how it, this is when that program knot's going to come in handy. In fact, I'm going to add one more before we begin sewing again. Good morning, Donna. So let me quickly show you, now that we've done USA, it would go into Freedom, but I can get a quick knot. Let's do this first. I'll just add a quick knot, and now we'll do Freedom. So see how it automatically advanced? Pretty sweet. This would be a good thing for my table runner because I could program all my words and just keep moving the fabric and stitch, oh, this word here, and not have to stop and do the editing process again. Oop, I didn't have a break after Freedom, so I'm going to have to cut out the USA. We'll fix that for next time. That's why you practice. Freedom, you. Okay, let me show you how to add the knots in. When I'm doing an application like this, I typically will go into the settings, and this is going to be under your sewing settings. I turn the knot at the beginning on. Oh, I guess that was on. That's good. So that means anytime I begin sewing, the machine's going to put a knot down. So it knotted at the beginning of USA. Then when we got to the end of USA and I hit the scissor, I go into the hand with the buttons, and every time I hit the scissor, I'm going to add a knot to my cut function so that it knotted here and here. So once I have those settings set that way, I don't have to plug the little knots in between my words because they're going to work automatically with the way that I'm sewing. Okay, let's do something new. Let's select all and trash this. Yes. And we'll write some new words. Let's write liberty. Oh, that was right. Liberty. And we'll add soft break. And then I think I'll do the word Oops, not that E. There we go. And I'm not going to forget to put the soft break at the end. Edit, breaks, soft break. Okay, here we go. Let's keep a quilting. I'll keep it so you can see the screen. Make sure I go all the way up to the beginning of Liberty. Let's do Liberty here. So we've got a knot. Now we're going to do the word. Hopefully I don't run into my star. I think I'm going to be okay, but just barely. Wonderful. When I hit the scissor, it ties a knot. Automatically advances to Brave. Let's put Brave here in the corner. Oh, see how it stopped that time? Because I put the soft break in. The more you play with this, the more comfortable you get. Good morning, Margie. Look at all my fun quilting words. Okay, one more thing before I let you go this morning and I get back to my actual job. I want to show you this cool number 23 foot, which I'm going to throw in the sale for these last 2 days. I know it wasn't one of the ones in the original advertising, but it's a clear foot, so why the heck not? 25% off if you want this one. We're going to jump back into regular sewing mode and get a zigzag stitch. This is a satin stitch foot. So, oops, I didn't mean to adjust the width. Put that back to default. It's the length I want to go. I know with isocord thread, I need to be at about 3/100 to get a nice satin stitch. And I'm going to get another star here. And another piece of fabric. And show you how you can, some people with raw edge applique prefer this satin stitch finish because then you don't actually have, oh, blue star. I probably ought to change that. Then you have the finished look without the hassle of the turning. Of course, yours won't be as hard because you'll use the right stuff. Oh, my machine's already saying, wait a minute, you told me you had a 39 on. Okay, yes, let me tell you what I have now. 23. All right. I'm going to set the foot down, and I'm going to use the center of this foot as a guide. I know it doesn't have the red line. Ooh, I might need a little stabilizer for this process. Whoop. Okay, I'm going to go to the outside swing stitch before I turn. That didn't quite line up how I wanted. I'm going to just manually, as I did before, get lined up again before I go down the next run. You got to be careful with a satin stitch that the machine is moving, but it's moving at a consistent rate and not stalling, because you don't want this to get bunched up. I had a little bit, let me zoom in. It sort of held up a bit there at the very edge, so I got a thicker spot. This is easier with more stabilizer and more starch, because it makes your stop. That's what I get for doing this without foot control. It makes your fabric not want to channel, and it also helps it feed through easier. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way around because I can't do this without a foot control. But you can see, just cut this off, how that would also give it that finished edge, almost like an embroidery pattern was doing it. I do not recommend trying this on a design that has a lot of detail, because doing points and curves are more challenging when you're doing a manual satin stitch. So just take it slow and, you know, enjoy the process. Don't torture yourself. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, and don't forget the clear feet, 39, 34, and 23 are 25% off till tomorrow. I think tomorrow's the end of the month. Oh, you might have Friday too. I don't know. I'd have to look at my calendar. Till the end of May, 25% off. Take advantage. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday and hope to see you soon. Toodles.